TheLandofIsrael.com and IsraelNationalNews.com present Ari Abramowitz and Jeremy Gimpel. Live from the heart of Israel, it's Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem.
You know, my return flight to Israel was just maybe a week or so ago, was scheduled literally the day before the riots broke out in Egypt. And I was traveling via Dallas, via Paris, all over the world, and I was getting the same incredulous looks every single place I went. Like, you're going there now with everything that's happening? How could you possibly go there now? Like I'm running headfirst into a blender. Like they were just so terrified for me. And I couldn't help but laughing at the irony that in my mind, I feel like I'm only safe and secure. I can only breathe easy once I land in Israel. Am I the only one here? Am I the only one in this room that feels safer in Israel than anywhere else in the world? Give me a round of... So that must make us all a little bit crazy, because the truth is, let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. We're all nuts. We're nuts. It's okay. The truth is, when you look around us, I can sort of objectively understand where they're coming from. Think about where we're living. 99.8% of the entire Middle East is made up of 23 Arab countries. There's 57 Muslim countries in the entire world. The only thing they all agree on is that we should not exist. You're booing at them, right? Not me, because I'm very sensitive. You know, Egypt, they're also pretty big. One could understand why we should be concerned about Egypt. Their army, twice the size of our army. Their navy is the largest one in the entire region. They don't like us at all. 95% of them in a recent survey have hostile feelings towards Jews. So as far as neighbors go, they're not exactly the Flanders or Mr. Wilson to Dennis, even though he was cruel at times. But we're talking about an entirely different world that we're facing right now. They're also not so liberal. You know, we're talking about a democracy. 88% of them believe in executing adulterers by stoning them to death. 88% of them, 77% of them believe in cutting the hands off of thieves. Starving people, steal an apple, cut your hand off. So they're not exactly on the liberal ticket either. So this is who we're around. So the question is, why do we feel safer in Israel? Well, for me, personally, I had to come to terms with the fact that our very existence here, in any capacity, is a miracle. It's a miracle that the Jewish people... That's for you. It's a miracle that the Jewish people exist. It's a miracle that we've returned to our land. The miracles are exponentially going upon themselves. You can't count them anymore. David Ben-Gurion was right when he said that when you live in Israel, to be a realist, you need to believe in miracles. So really, for me and for all of us, God's protection is our safest bet. It just makes the most sense. The odds are the best for us. And what's happening in Egypt, small potatoes compared to what we've been through throughout our history. So if we stand strong and determined, and we always have our faith in Hashem, we have absolutely no reason to ever be afraid.
When we think about Egypt, is there a country we have more baggage with than Egypt? I mean, it started with Joseph. He saves their empire, puts them as the superpower of the world. Then they enslave us. Then we're freed. Egypt created us as a nation. The concept of freedom was born in Egypt. And today, as the Egyptian people are struggling for their freedom, people in Israel, we really don't know what to think. On one hand, how could freedom be bad? How could democracy be wrong? On the other hand, if they democratically elect the wrong leaders, it's not going to be a pretty sight. So what to think? And we see revolutions now happening across the Middle East. Tunisia, Bahrain, the Jordanian government just fired its entire parliament. Yemen, Iran, revolutions everywhere. People should be getting a little bit nervous. What's going on in the Middle East today? But what's so beautiful about Judaism is we have 4,000 years of acquired wisdom. The Talmud tells us before the coming of Mashiach, revolutions will happen all across the Middle East. Nations will rise up against their kings. In fact, in the book of Ishayahu that the Gemara is based on, it says, V'sichsachti Mitzrayim beMitzrayim, ish be'achiv, v'nilchemu ish be'achiv, v'ish be're'ehu, ir ba'ir, mamlacha be'mamlacha, and I will spur Egypt against Egypt, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. So should we be afraid? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Israel is the safest place in the world. It's the only place in the world where you can be safe. Every step that happens now across the Middle East, every step towards freedom is a step closer to that era that we're all waiting for, to an era of peace in the region. Now, it might take a while, and it might be scary, but every step along the way is a step closer to our destiny. And if we stay true to ourselves and we act wisely in Israel and around the world and bring values to the Middle East, not just democracy. Democracy isn't just freedom. Democracy is a tool to ensure freedom. Democracy is all about the values that you're trying to preserve. So now, we have to bring those Jewish values, those biblical values, those Western values to the Middle East. That's why we're here, to be a light unto the nations. But don't ask me. We want you to see what the Jews of Jerusalem have to say about what's going on in Egypt. So join us as we invite you to meet the streets.
And now, Meet the Street with Ari and Jeremy.
If you had a message, a Torah-based message from Israel that you would want to tell the Egyptian people, what would your message be?
That you have to remember that all blessings are also dependent on how you relate to the Jewish people. So if you bless the Jewish people, that's it's for all the people. So if you bless the Jewish people, you will be blessed.
You believe in peace?
I believe in peace.
Would you fight for peace?
Yes, of course.
Would you burn tires for peace? Would you riot in the streets for peace? Throw stones, bash windows, all in the name of peace?
No, I wouldn't. No. Well, it depends on what peace it is. Is it like
peace.
a good peace?
A good peace?
Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I would.
Burn the whole country. Freedom.
Yes, I would.
A message for the people of Egypt.
Calm down.
What do you think we should learn from what's going on in Egypt?
That Arab dictators should be scared and allow their people freedoms, otherwise they're not going to be in power much longer.
If you were the Egyptian president, what would you do?
Run.
What would be your hopes for Egypt and Israel?
Oh, to keep the peace treaty.
Hopefully you will come to Israel to visit us, and we can visit you, and we'll have falafel together, and more
Pita.
And trade will increase. Hummus, absolutely.
People should have the rights that they deserve.
What happens if they freely choose to elect the Hamas or some other Islamic radical leadership? What will we do then?
Well, then America shouldn't support them militarily, but that's the Egyptian people's right. No foreign government should have the right to decide who they pick as their government.
You have to treat people like people, and when you do that, then they'll respect you.
So what lesson should we as Israel take from the whole Egypt uprising?
The lesson we just learned is that you can't stop people getting their freedom. Not us, not ourselves, just as we demanded our own freedom rightly, and we'll protect our own freedom, and other people will demand their own freedom and get their own freedom.
What do you think about what's happening in Egypt right now?
I think what God's doing, he's giving us a gift. Because the world can live under an illusion that, well, you know, if we just do this, and if you just speak to this, and if you just make this arrangement, and here we had the country that everyone said, look at your deal with Egypt, look how strong, that's going to last forever. And God says, you think that's going to last forever? Watch what I do. And he stirs the pot. And when you stir the pot, some people will stick to the side of the pot, go, no, that doesn't mean anything. We're still going to go ahead with it, but more and more people are starting to realize, you know what? We're not in an ordinary, this is not a Canada-US border. This is a border with people who, by their theology, don't think we should be here. Maybe we should be a little more careful about who we speak to, what we give, and what we expect in return.
Dictators are overthrown, so you make a deal with one dictator, and then tomorrow the next dictator decides to nullify it. What are you going to do?
You think we have anything to be scared of?
Yeah, because if the wrong people get into the office, we could be in trouble.
And then there may be people on our borders that don't like us. What would we do?
Get a bigger gun.
Are you nervous being here in Israel with all that's going on there?
No, because we have a great God who protects us.
Do you think Israel has anything to worry about?
Of course, of course. You know, Israel is surrounded by all these enemies.
Okay, we're surrounded on all sides, but what is above us?
Who is above us?
So do we really have anything to be afraid of?
Well, what we have to be afraid of is when we don't obey him. When we don't do his will, we should be afraid of that. Because he has proved it. He's loving, he's merciful, but don't take him for granted.
You think in Israel we have something to be scared of, nervous about?
Are you kidding? The whole plot is being stirred in order to make us realize we have nothing to be afraid of. We're in the most secure place in the world. The rest of the world really they should start getting a little more fearful. But no, we're fine.
We feel safe here.
You feel safe in Israel, why?
Why? Because everybody have a gun. So
I think God lives here.
God lives here, yeah. And we charge him rent.
Mubarak is blaming the riots on the Jews. The people in the riots are blaming Mubarak on Israel. Is there any other way that we could somehow blame the Jews or Israel in this whole scenario?
It's always the same story, you know? It's like that. We're happy about it, we don't care. Just make what we're still doing the same.
I say that they can blame us if we could blame them and ask for the amount of money that we deserve for the 400 years of enslavement, the pyramids back.
You know, there's revolution happening throughout the entire Middle East. Why isn't it happening in Israel?
Because we're not dictators?
Well, I think each one of us is a dictator in our own right, so it's a country of dictators. So we're each having our own internal revolution. Is there something to that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not the kind of dictators that behead each other.
The Mubarak family fled the country, and we've started the Mubarak Family Fund to provide for the needs of the Mubarak family. Are you willing to contribute to this fund? Because who knows, they don't have anything.
I think they have about $5 billion. That's what
$5 billion is not what it used to be. Mubarak and his family tragically had to flee the country.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's a shame, right? And so we've started the Mubarak Family Fund to provide for the basic needs of the Mubarak family.
Good idea.
All of those billions of dollars of American aid, that was going to him. Now he's got to know he's got to live on that $5 billion.
That's the problem. Okay, maybe.
Take out your wallet and contribute to the fund.
And you can't live on $85 billion.
Who can live on that nowadays? That'll get you basic staples wherever they're running to. To fill this void, Jeremy and I have actually recently discovered our Egyptian lineage, and we're running for Pharaoh in Egypt. Are you supporting us? Of course. You're not even interested. What are our policies? What gives us the right to do that?
We trust you. We trust you.
You trust me because, okay, well, I need you to sign this petition. Government subsidized formaldehyde for mummifications. Right? So many people are like mummified there, but you know how much that costs? That's a big deal, no? One of our policies was no relieving yourself in the Nile upstream.
That sounds pretty good.
It causes real problems for the bathers. If you've ever bathed downstream like I have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. No Coptics in Cairo on Sunday. Do you know what the Coptics do to Cairo? They ruin the whole city. No Coptics on Sunday, right? No gypsies on Tuesday in Cairo. That'll keep the peace. No gypsies, no Coptics.
Yeah.
Are we in?
Oh, of course.
What do you have against Coptics?
You said it.
No, but I was kidding, and you're actually like, Mubarak hires you to go and fight the protesters down and beat them down. He gives you a horse. You go there. Your horse has a massive stroke. You don't know what to do. Are you going to either A, do CPR on the horse mouth to mouth and try to save it, or are you going to go by foot and quell the protesters?
I'd probably go by foot.
I pinned you as that sort of guy.
You know, I'm having a similar kind of day. I lost my BlackBerry.
Would you marry Mubarak?
Oh, God forbid.
What, 30 camels, and you marry him? 30 camels, 2 donkeys, a palace on the Nile, and you marry Mubarak forever. In this world and the next. It's a bond that can't be broken. Would you marry Mubarak?
God forbid. No way.
You were just telling me that you were going to go down in Egypt and join the protesters to overthrow Mubarak, and I was wondering, where did that passion come from?
The politic ask.
Oh, politic. Well, I am in French. Then
French, they don't like to protest.
we don't like protest.
I don't like to protest either.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Hip-hop and pop with a twist of soul on the rocks. Why did I start by saying that? Because otherwise I would have forgotten it. It's a tongue twister, but it fits for these guys because they are a tremendous up-and-coming musical sensation everywhere. Everywhere they play, they light it up. They just signed, and get ready to scream out Mazel Tov, a major international record label with Haktav Hashmini. Fellas, Mazel Tov. Let me introduce Star.
How you all doing tonight? So this first song we're gonna play is called Tikkun Olam, and the idea is very fitting for what everybody just talked about. It's about the Jewish people going through history and the struggles we've been through. If you listen closely, we'll talk about what's happening here in the media, happening all over the world in the media, happening with us. And it's about taking every person's individual power and fixing the world with it. Because that's what Tikkun Olam means. Check it out. Yeah. See, I don't know where to start or even where to begin. Guess I'll start from the start with the original sin. Our position was then switched up to Rachamim, start the dream, bad decision in hand. We pressed the fruit to the lips, we tripped. Our trip is now on a mission to fix, just to follow the script. Tip for time, gotta listen, mind, get the crystalline sight. Yeah, our time to shine so bright. I'm a Lego blind as a beacon sign. Plant the seed in time, then the tree will climb. Abraham Avinu, Miku, not deceitful. People will came to mind. We see the rise and falls of many nations, devastations, reputations, irrigations. See, we're right here, right now, right here. Still with patience, y'all. Better bet y'all, props is blatant. Listen very closely to what I'm about to say. I step to rock the beat so I can sit and hop the lively and speak my piece complete with no facade. Straight truth and not even a maybe. In-state road rocket train on the basis is daily. Very shady, traded world opinion for life. Gilad is dying at there, can't even put up a fight. They're like, Zionism is the cause for the strife. I'll call a spade, you bunch of anti-Semites. Me, I like the type that'll fight for right, ignite the light, sight not to bite the hype. I write what's right and I do what's real. Do what's good in his eyes, forget the mass appeal. He what's on time, on pile on, right on track to bring the years back to Zion. Lion lays low in his den, then he pops out of the shadows, it goes straight for your neck. Blah. you're living for. So you better figure it out and live.